What key are we in? And that is a great question. And the answer to that question is what lets us use practically anything we want in soloing on top of this. And they're just ripping on it. This is the most freeing scale of them all. So I'm going to take it up here just to show you, okay? If you stick to this scale, you're invincible. I'm just telling you, you're invincible. You can't sound terrible. And there are plenty of performances I've heard live on YouTube and Spotify where this is the only thing happening. Check this out. Diatonics, pentatonics, chord tones, Mixolydian scales, arpeggios, all this stuff. Whatever you like to do, just stick with it and just, destroy that smorgasbord. Just sit there and just, have fun with all the ingredients. Welcome back to another episode of Stichmethod. Today we're going to be doing an in the mind of kind of how to solo over Ophelia. But the problem is that there are so many ways to solo over Ophelia by the band. And so what we're going to do is we're going to learn all the different ways possible, from easier to more complex. And wherever you are on guitar, you can probably do one of these, and then you want to study them and then work on the next one until you can do any one at like any time. And so you'll learn how to kind of like become like the smorgasbord of guitar players by picking all different items from the table and then incorporating them into your solo. And so we're going to start really quickly with discussing the chord progression. It is quite unique, and I'll go over everything for you. Now, just in case you haven't seen it, I have a video from last week located right here, right there, on how to solo over this progression with only 3 notes. And the reason I did it is to show you that it's not about the notes you play, it's about how you play them. So if you want to check that video out first to get used to like the idea of what else is in music besides scales, that's a good idea. Also, I will say this, several months ago I did an In the Mind of Clapton for Nobody Knows You When You're Down and Out, which is a very, very similar chord progression. So if you want to see how Clapton kind of handles the same kind of feel, you can check it out here. All these videos will be linked below. So we need to talk about what key the song is in. And let me tell you, it's in the key of C, loosely. There's a lot of breaking of the key signatures, and I want to discuss this with you. Now, if you feel like this is over your head, don't worry. Just watch it or fast forward, because learning how to solo over it is really easy, and you can do it quite simply, but just in case you want to see how this is broken down, it's interesting. Here we go. So in the key of C, we have all the chords in the key of C. C major, D minor, E minor, F major, G major, G major, A minor, and B minor 7 flat 5, or B diminished. So let's take a look at how this compares to the key of C. Well, it starts off on a C. Yes, all right, we have the 1 chord, C. It then goes to an E7. And this is where trouble begins right now. If you look, the 3rd chord in the key of C should be an E minor, but we're playing it as a 7th chord. Now, I mentioned this in my Black Magic Woman video, I believe, and other Stichmethod videos. It is very, very common when playing a 3 chord, okay, when you're going to a 6, which is an A, that you play it as a 7th chord. It just leads to it quite easily, or actually better. So I can understand how it's a 1, and then the 3 is a 7th, because the next chord is an A. But the problem is it should be an A minor, and we're playing it as an A7. And so this concept of playing these 7 chords really gives it that New Orleans type music sound, which Ophelia kind of sounds like. And so it goes to an A7, and then it goes to a D7. And it's like, okay, and so it's moving in this fifth, this dominant structure, like A to the D, the 5 to the 1, but you don't have to worry about that. It goes to an A7. The root note's in the key of C, but the chord itself is not. It goes to a D7, and it's like, oh, come on, it should be a D minor. And it's okay, because we're kind of doing this dominant fall down of A to D. And it's like, okay, D, what comes after the D7? All right, F major. Yes, we have the 4 chord. And then G7, believe it or not, is the 5 chord, and we love it. Okay, so we do have a 1, 4, and 5 in here in the key of C. And let's keep going. And then we have, it goes to a C, then the A7 appears, the D7 appears, and then a G7. All these chords again, and this is really just coming down the circle of fifths. A to the 5, well, A is the 5 of D, and D is the 5 of the G, and then starts again going back to the C. It's a very common chord progression, and you can hopefully see, I know I'm talking a lot, that it's loosely based in the key of C with lots of key changes there. But the good news is that we can use that information to solo over in crazy ways. So let's start with the easiest method possible. All right, the easiest method would be to play a C major pentatonic. So let me show you a C major pentatonic. Now, if you're here at this level, follow along until you can't follow along anymore and just practice, all right? And so here, a C major pentatonic, we're going to use this guy here, which also feels like an A minor pentatonic. The root note is on the 8th fret, but it's 5, 8, 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, 8, 5, 8. You can get a lot of mileage out of this scale with this chord progression. Check it out. I'm just going to solo free will here, all right? I'm really not chasing the chords just yet. I'm just using my direction, my feel, and I'm going to tell you, it's going to work quite well. So you can see that I was just jamming in the C major pentatonic or A minor pentatonic, however you want to think about it, and it works quite well over that chord progression. Well, why? I'll tell you. It's loosely based in the key of C major, and so a C major pentatonic will work. It's just that simple. Nothing too threatening on the C major pentatonic is going to interfere with anything in the chords, and so the C major pentatonic is going to work. Let's take it to our next level here. We're going to progress quite quickly, and you just stop wherever you need to, okay? All right, the next level, in my humble opinion, that you hear Robbie Robertson do on this, okay, is just grab the upper half of kind of the form 2 pentatonic of each chord and kind of dabble with it, all right? So let me show you. Now you got to start chasing the chords, and we're going to go back to a scale or two in a little bit, but let me show you this E-shaped chord here, okay? This is an E-shaped C chord. And the pentatonic that goes with it, all right, which all the stuff, if you want to learn this, and if you haven't, will be linked below, how to find your pentatonics really easily with your chords, is your form 2 pentatonic. But we're going to use this little Albert King box, 9, 8, 10, 8, 10. And so you'll hear, Robbie Robertson kind of do these little dances. He does a little bit of stuff that's different, but you can hear them. Then to an E, up here, right? To an A, here. Definitely utilize these little, like, to a D, F, and then, sorry, let me show you. Higher. Now that's just kind of like tipping the hat to the chord tones, and you can hear Robbie Robertson's first on Ophelia, his first kind of guitar solo kind of takes that path. But let me show you. This might be a very long video, and I hope you're enjoying it. I'm really jazzed about it. By the way, I slowed the backing track just a little bit down just so we can really like concentrate on it. But what if we mix both ideas so far? The C major pentatonic and following with these little like chord chunks. Let's see what it sounds like. Now you can combine them. We're picking at it. We're at a smorgasbord, and it's like, oh, I have a cracker, I have some hummus, and you can say, okay, have some cracker and some hummus, right? Put it together. And that's kind of the feel there. And so let's keep on going. And I hope you're enjoying this. There's a lot to do. I'm moving quite swiftly, but I trust you. You're getting this. All right. The next maneuver is trying to use a full C major scale. Now, it's really interesting. It works quite well because all the root notes of the chords are in C major, and these dominant seventh chords really lend us to playing some really cool notes over it with this scale. And if you really, what I'm trying to say is, if you really hold yourself to that C major scale, you can get away with a lot. And if you listen to Ophelia live, there are some solos that you can hear that's straight up C major or A minor. They're the same exact scale, and they're just ripping on it. This is the most freeing scale of them all. So I'm going to take it up here just to show you, okay? So an A minor scale and a C major scale are the same exact thing. They're relative major and relative minor. So I'm going to show you a C major scale. I'm going to start with this C right here in the 15th fret. It's 15, 12, 14, 15, 12, 14, 12, 13, 15, 12, 13, 15. There it is. Okay, so I play this scale with the confidence that I tried to develop in the video I mentioned earlier, the one where I play with just 3 notes. You got to use your bends, you got to use your slides, your hammer-ons, your pull-offs, your breaks, all that stuff. And so if you stick to this scale, you're invincible. I'm just telling you, you're invincible. You can't sound terrible. And there are plenty of performances I've heard live on YouTube and Spotify where this is the only thing happening. Check this out. Throw a little chromatic in there, but don't be afraid to throw chromatics in. All right, so what if we throw in all of our options so far? The A minor pentatonic, chasing the chords with the Albert King box, a little bit of A minor scale, picking at that smorgasbord. You can get cracker, hummus, and a cucumber slice. Throw them together. Let's see how it sounds. Not bad at all. So let's keep on talking. Depending on how much knowledge you have of the guitar, you can take a very jazzier approach with playing just the arpeggios of those chords. Now, I'm not going to get into that just yet because I have an awesome video about arpeggios coming out quite soon, and you pretty much need to know that information first. But all I'm saying is just playing the notes of the chords as they happen. All right. Now, just in case you want to hear it, I will show you. I'm going to stick to just the major arpeggio so you can hear the sound. Not even the 7th arpeggios, just the majors. And if you want to follow this, you can skip forward, but this is what it sounds like when you play just the chord arpeggio. So I'm going to use my C-shaped cage system for this. So I have a C arpeggio, A, sorry, you need an E. Here's your E, to an A, to a D, to an F, to a G, and then to the C, and I'll do the whole thing for you, but here we go. It's really rough on the fingers. Here we go. And the G. Skip one there because my brain was just short-circuiting. But you can hear that you can throw these arpeggios in on any chord, and if you listen to Widespread Panic play it, you can hear kind of Jimmy Herring get on top of that. But that's more of an advanced thing, but I just want to show you some chord work. The last thing we're going to talk about, and you can throw all this stuff together. I hope that you're enjoying this. I really do. Oh, and if you want to practice all these ideas, join me on Patreon. You know, I was very shy when I launched the Patreon channel because I'm like, oh, you know, Patreon to me at that time, I just want to talk to you, was like, okay, you know, why should I have one? I don't want to take advantage of anyone. And then I came up with this idea of like offering practice sessions and deeper dives into all the lessons I have on YouTube. And that's what it's become. And people absolutely love it. And so if you like what's happening here and you want to learn not more, because all the information is presented here on YouTube, but if you want to learn how to get it into your fingertips and practice with me, that's what it's about. If you want to check it out, check it out. The last thing we're going to talk about here, actually, no, not the last thing, we have two more things, is the Mixolydian blues scale, located here. Boom! All right, that is an awesome one. It's pretty much a major pentatonic and a minor pentatonic and some blues notes wrapped into each other. So I'm just going to show you how to think about it like the dirty way, okay? And so for every chord, you can have that Albert King box that I showed you, but you can also have the minor pentatonic, like the per chord. So C would be here, and a C minor pentatonic. The E would be here, and A minor. You get the idea. You can use the Mixolydian blues scale to kind of really like wreak havoc on this solo. Last little move, if you choose to use the Mixolydian, you definitely want to use the C Mixolydian over the fast chord change at the end. It just bites real hard. So now, before we even get any further, let's see if we can throw all these things in here. I don't know if I can name them, but the more you learn them, it's like, oh man, cracker, hummus, cucumber, ooh, sun-dried tomato, okay? And you just, I don't want to do it. You just kind of throw them together. So this is me kind of throwing it all together. Let's see. So you might notice I did one thing in there where you're like, oh, what was that? What was that? And that's the last thing I want to talk about, just the sliding sixths. They're so cool to throw in, and I think they're a viable piece of the puzzle, and they will be located right here. All right? I don't know how many times I pointed here, but I'm only allowed to point 5 times, just to let you know. And so sliding sixths, very simply, when you find that shape of the chord where we're using that Albert King box, these two notes are part of the chord. So for C, and we have this beat, this piece here, and then if you slide your ring finger up 1 fret, and then you go to the 10th fret of the high E string, and then up 2 frets here. Now this is actually a piece of another C chord. I explained the whole thing in that sliding sixth video, but this move is pretty much your tip in the hat of the C chord. You can enhance it like Jerry Garcia does, and kind of walk into it, but you can throw these sliding sixths in anywhere. And so let's just try playing just the sliding sixth for every chord. It's going to sound funky, I know, but you know, you want to practice stuff like this. Let's see. Oh my gosh, where am I? Right there, I screwed up. it's hard to follow that. But you got it. You got the idea. And I'm leaving my screw-ups in because I'm having so much fun with this, and I hope this all makes sense. So I have no idea how long this video is, but you have a lot of options. Tons of options. I mean, it's amazing, this chord progression, because it kind of breaks in and out of a key. It doesn't really follow the structure of a key. It's very liberating. Diatonics, pentatonics, chord tones, Mixolydian scales, arpeggios, all this stuff. Whatever you like to do, just stick with it and just, destroy that smorgasbord. Just sit there and just, have fun with all the ingredients. I'll take one more solo. I'll throw it all together. Again, join me on Patreon if you want to learn how to go real deep with these ideas and practice them with me as I practice them for this video. And even though I practiced, I still screwed up. But that's okay. And so here it is one more time. Let's see. Keep on going. Go get them. Go have fun. Hope you really enjoyed this. Talk very soon. Share and subscribe and all that fun stuff that goes with YouTube. And I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.